Hey, hey. This is on TikTok news. What's up, everyone? What's up? Welcome back to the Saylesspdcast podcast. Talapalava malo lele ki orana nisa bulo vinaka. Is you also Sefa got my toko here atu. It's a privilege to be here. Another episode, man. We have a treat for you guys. None other than the man himself, hailing from Ludas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Naufahu. Welcome, brother.
Malo, brothers. Malo, brothers. Malo, sepa.
Malo. Man, again, before we get into it, it's an honor having you, bro. It's an honor having you on this platform, having you on this podcast. Me and the Toko here have been planning in the afternoon, like, man, you got to step up our game, man. We gotta come up with some tough questions for the bro. So again, it's an honor to have you, bro. It's an honor to have you. How's it been?
You know what? It's been really good, bro. I think the lessons we learned from the first lockdown, which are don't eat everything in the house every day. Don't drink everything in the house every day. Try to do some, I think the lessons I learned in the first, we all learned after the first lockdown, we've taken them into this one. And to be honest, like, I've really enjoyed this lockdown. It's day 100 now. I've lost count. I think it's day 100 or something, bro. But, you know what, man? I guess it's like everything, you learn to adapt and acclimatize to whatever the situation is. And, we just have to, get by, and we just have to work out ways to, to maintain our health and our wealth, and, and keep our family close and look after them. And, if anything, I guess the lessons we're learning through COVID, when else are we going to be pushed to learn those lessons? What else is going to force us to remember the things that we've remembered or had to remember during lockdown? The importance of family, the importance of, being empathetic, towards other people's plights. How valuable it is to have freedom, when it's taken away. It's one of the most, devastating things you can do to somebody is to remove their freedom from them. So, what, man, I've had a great time, bro. I mean, I'm back working, I'm back coaching people, which is what I love to do. I see my son and my daughter, more than ever, because, the school is all changed, bro. I'm spending a lot more time with my mum, in the bubble. I'm getting mum's home cooking, just about every night. I'm having good laughs with the old man, he's giving me shit in Tongan and I don't understand what he's saying, but
Ew.
I just said that. And if anything, I'm reminded of those childhood years, man. When times were carefree, bro, and you just cruise around and you hang out with your boys, and for me, I'm very lucky, bro. I do what I love. I train people. I work out in a gym for my job. So every day I get up, man, and I'm happy. I look forward to going to work, and now more than ever with the way that things have been. I think people realize the importance of exercise in a wider context, bro. Not just to get fit or get abs, bro. It's actually about connection and tribal strength and the power of community, and I guess not just working out with the benefit of looking good, but benefit of feeling good in mind.
Yeah, man. Well, that's the end of our podcast. Joe is pretty much Joe is pretty much wrapped up.
Thank
you very much. This is Saylesspdcast podcast.
By the way, this is podcast number 6 for the day today.
Check out part 2 in the next 2 weeks. That's cool, bro. What about your upbringing, bro? Talk about, let us know about your upbringing. Any siblings? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm the youngest in a family of 5. My folks were, among the many Polynesians that came over from the islands around the 60s, 70s, moved into Ponsonby, made Ponsonby the hood that it is
Come
not
on
today.
now, man.
When it was, before it was gentrified, when Ponsonby was, fobs and Māoris walking around and jandals and lovers, bro. And, everyone worked in a factory out there, and so that's, my grandparents, they were, very big family, 12 siblings in my mum and dad's family, bro. And, we grew up in that era, when dawn raids were a thing. And, we moved out to South Auckland. My mum and dad moved us out to Otara. And so we grew up in Otara, bro. My family of 5 kids. And yeah, bro, I just, we were a typical island family. Grew up, loving rugby. And, I had 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters. And, I was very close to my mum. Mum did everything for our typical family, bro. Dad go out and work and mum looked after the kids. Very humble upbringing out in Otara. And then round about my teen years, bro, we moved out and then moved into, like I said earlier, bro, Mount Albert. And then I ended up going to Grandma. I was, very fortunate. My older brothers went there. So, the path was cleared for me to have an entry into Auckland Grandma. And man, I just had I had a lot of fun growing up. Loved my sport, played rugby all through my years. I always studied hard as well, bro. I just didn't want to get a hiding, so I did everything I was told. Man. I mean, I had a couple of good schools that I went to. I went to Auckland Grammar, and then I ended up going to King's as well. So I experienced, 2 very different worlds, but very, very grateful for both of those worlds because they taught me so much in different ways. And then, I took off and I went down to Canterbury, did my uni down in Canterbury, went on a scholarship to play rugby down there, on a development scholarship, and, ended up playing NPC and went down to Invercargill for NPC. So I went from colder to colder to colder, bro. And then to colder again when I went over to the UK, and finished up my rugby playing in the UK. But yeah, that was kind of my early years, bro. A footy player, always identified myself as a footy player, which hard not to, when you're in that bubble. But yeah, I look back on, my early exit from the game, and it was probably a blessing in disguise because I got to see a different, I got to have a different outlook on the whole, professional sports world, and everything that's bundled up in it, bro.
Bro. And was rugby always kind of your cup of tea back when you were younger, or like obviously?
Absolutely, bro.
Oh, awesome, bro. And wanting to be an All Black as well, bro, or?
Yeah, man. I mean, always, that was, that's the dream, I guess, of every, kid growing up. Maybe that's changed a little bit now because there's so many different opportunities you can have as a rugby player, you can travel the world as a rugby player. You can be an NPC player and go away to England or Italy or France and become like a superstar,
Yeah.
So the whole All Black, dream, whilst it's still, I guess at the top of every kid's mind, there's also all these other possibilities as a rugby player that you can have, and I went through the grades, bro. I played New Zealand under 16s, under 19s, schoolboys, 2 years with New Zealand Colts. So it was a path for me, bro. I really believed that it was something that was going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And when I went over to play in the UK, I always really had that dream, man. I'll go back. I'll do some traveling over here, make a little bit of money enough to, maybe buy a house when we go back, and come back and give it another crack. At the time I was still very young, early 20s, and things happen, bro. And you can never know what's around the corner, as we all know with COVID, bro.
Yeah, man. You spoke about going overseas. Because how old were you when you went overseas?
I was 22, I think, bro. When me and my girl at the time decided to take off, bro. And man, it's it was a decision that I didn't take lightly, but I was looking at my long-term future. I needed to make a bit of money, and I felt like I was, struggling a little bit back home with Canterbury, the rugby team, and I just needed a fresh start, bro. So that was the decision that we made as at the time as a little unit, me and my missus at the time,
Yeah, as for you, because nowadays, a lot of the recruitment, they start in first 15, they start in high school. They don't start after high school anymore. Because even in Australia and the UK, they always look into New Zealand, especially when it comes to rugby union. So the recruitment is massive. So for you, as a young adult in your early 20s, with your, as you said, with your missus at the time, like, what was the culture? Was there like a cultural shock when you moved at the time?
Well, I kind of was, I kind of readied myself for like the move and, relocating and all that kind of thing, because I'd done it from Auckland to Canterbury first of all. And then I'd spent time, down in Southland. But, nothing could prepare me for, in completely packing up, bro. I was a typical island kid, bro. We'll live with our parents till we're, 30, whatever, that's just our culture, bro, So for me to leave it, I guess, it's to leave the country at an early age, it was kind of daunting, but, all right. I wasn't scared of a challenge, and, I had my lady with me, and, I felt confident that we could go and make a life for ourselves overseas, bro,
Yeah, bro. And just touching on your overseas experience, bro, what's probably one of the biggest lessons you've kind of learned over there, and up to this day you still hold very close to yourself?
The thing that maybe comes to mind, bro, is never judge a book by its cover. I have friends from so many different walks of life, bro, and, I was playing rugby in all these different places and meeting these, I guess, different people, guys that have grown up with very different, upbringings. And one thing that they all share the same kind of human qualities, bro. We had an immediate social group when we moved over there, wives and girlfriends, would hang out together, and then, the brothers would, and, I became best mates with some of my Scottish guys over there, and same down in South and Canterbury, I think, and also to this day, bro, I've always had mates from very different ethnicities and backgrounds. And, if you just sit and talk to somebody, man, you can learn so much about them, but not only about them, it teaches you so much about yourself. But you have to be able to open up and not judge someone, immediately you see someone and you make a preconception about them. Oh, that guy's from this, or he hangs out with those kind of people, and you take yourself away from the opportunity to grow and to learn something off that person, And, to this day, bro, I've got mates that I will sit and talk to, and I'll find things out about them, man, that I didn't know before, and it blows me away, brother. That the amount of beauty and talent that some people possess, and they don't know it, man. But all it takes is for you to like sit and go, really, man, and they don't even know it. They don't know how special they are, for all sorts of different reasons, and maybe that's something that I've learned with all the different people from different cultures and ethnicities, that, never judge a book by its cover. I think, there's always this thing that I kind of sit and I think about, bro. It's like a situation that I kind of, like a hypothetical situation. I think about it. Imagine if every child that was born, imagine if it was completely random as to the ethnicity of the baby that was born. You could be a Tongan and a Samoan couple, but you could have a Chinese baby. Like it would come out, it would be completely random as to the ethnicity. Because I think how do we remove judgment? How do we unlearn the bias that we have in our minds before we, when we see someone, or, when we see a situation, there's immediately like this thought that goes through our head, and we make a judgment based on it. And it stops us, or it precludes us from getting the real juice out of, that interaction that could have happened, but it doesn't.
And I think, like, just touching on, with what you've learned, bro, and I've been like a student of that. Like I signed up at Ludus in May of this year, and bro, I knew nobody. When I first walked into those doors, man, your partner was, she was very welcoming. And then not only that, I went down the stairs, and the first guy that looked at me was this guy, and he looked up and he was like, Uzo! And it was like we knew each other, eh? And like it was more like he kind of just welcomed me like we knew each other, and from that moment I was like, yo, bro, I feel at home, you know, like even though I was brand new to the gym, but I felt like I've been there for like years, you know.
Atu, isn't that a beautiful feeling, man?
Bro, 100%,
you know, there's nothing like when you go somewhere, bro, and you feel accepted.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like without even trying, bro, you just walk in and you're like, and you can, you know, relax, bro. You know,
100%, bro. Because I wouldn't nervous.
That's what I try to. I mean, that's what I try to create at Ludas. Because you know what, man, I know how good that feels and how much as a human being that actual reaction, that response, how much beautiful joy it generates in somebody.
Man,
awesome,
any
just touching. Oh, you go.
Any plans of opening one in Hawaii? In Hawaii, please. Please,
man, I would love to, man. You know what, bro? I've never been to Hawaii. I still haven't been
here.
Oh,
buddy. Aloha mai.
This is the guy you need to hit up, bro.
Also, it's on my list, man. So you know, once this podcast goes viral, bro, and you know you got that bank account banging. I want to see that ticket coming through. So remember.
Atu Toko, it's official. Ludas is sponsoring.
Let's go. Yeah, bro, Joe, this is the man to go to, bro.
Let me know, bro. Let me know.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, bro. Just
you know that was one of my favorite things, man. In LA was the Hawaiian barbecue, bro.
Oh, yo, bro.
You know, you get those polystyrene, the foam. You know the contain. Oh man, and you got your pork chops and your macaroni and cheese, bro.
Dangerous, though.
Oh man, straight up dangerous when it's right next door to the house of pancakes too.
Facts, man.
At least the walking, you know, little walk after the.
Space it out. You know, space it out, guys.
Yeah, you know, 10 meters at least also, man. Damn. You know, you could just get a few bear crawls in before you go to that.
That's
you know, to chop in 3-5 burpees before
that's exactly why I'm telling you. Come start one here.
Yo, I got you, man. I got you, bro. Hey, at least we didn't have to worry about the rain over there, man.
Thank you very much.
Yo, man.
Oh, man.
Nah, me, man. And I think also just how we've touched on Ludas, bro, and obviously physical health well-being is a huge part of your life, Joe, and obviously starting up Ludas as well. So if you could touch on like how did that come about in regards to being a big part of your life, and then what made you start up Ludus Magnus, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I touched on you know, exiting rugby early, and you know, when you do leave something that you love, you know, you're always going to miss it, you know. And I guess, you know, you know, there's certain things that I miss and have missed over the years. The actual playing of the sport, you know, is something that, you know, I think I'll always, you know, remember, you know, because the actual physical, you know, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the heat of the battle, bro, you know. You know, no matter how, you know, as a fan now and a spectator, you know, you sit and watch these amazing spectacles, bro, these amazing encounters. And, you know, you just, when you know what it's like to be in there and in that moment, you know, that's what I miss, bro, you know. But you know, when I set Ludus up, you know, it was kind of a calling to, you know, fulfill some of those longings that I had from, you know, missing the game. And that was, you know, the camaraderie, you know, of having a unified goal, having, you know, going out on the field or wherever it is, going out on, you know, into the arena to work out, you know, and you're looking around, you got your crew with you, man, your team, and you just know, you know, you look them in the eye and, you know, it's go, man, you know. And that's what that's what I, you know, wanted to recreate at Ludas, was just that feeling of being a part of something, bro, you know, part of a movement, you know. And you know, the exercise is secondary for me. that the benefits that the actual exercise, they come as a side effect of the exercise, man. The benefits are so far reaching, bro. They go inside your soul, they go inside your brain, they affect your emotional, they affect your ability to interact, there's so many things that you get out of it, but you kind of have to sit and really think about the actual exercise as a movement and change your paradigm towards it being something that you have to do. You have to go out and exercise, or you have to do this. It's a task, it's a mission. That's the way people kind of look at exercise. And you turn it around and you make it a gift, and it's fun, and it's, you're going to come away from it. And guess what? You're going to be better than you were before, no matter what you did, whether it's 1 push-up, 2 push-up. And, I worked in construction for 5 years, bro, when I got home from the UK, and learned so many things on the building site. I was project managing. I was doing interior fit outs with a big company called Hawkins. And and it was, bro, it's the same gig. You're running teams, you're running crews, you're together with a bunch of guys trying to fulfill a mission, trying to finish a job out, bro. When I was running these crews, and I was getting these guys motivated, we're checking plans, and we were having laughs at our smoko breaks. And the thing that I saw when I was on the construction site, man, was that most of these guys were really unfit and unhealthy. And for whatever reason, these guys were under so much pressure, so much stress as builders, as electricians, as laborers, that their diet and their exercise was, the priority for it was down here. The priority was work, get the work done, finish the mahi, look after your family. And then, Joe Blogs is down here, bro, and his exercise regime and his nutrition and, looking after his heart and, all that stuff was down here. And I thought, man, this is not right, man. And I started taking a few of my, the gang on my building sites for fitness sessions, bro, And then I started taking, group classes, bro, and with my mates in the park. And then I met a guy because I was acting through that time as well. I was doing little gigs here and there. Yeah. And I met a guy, German guy, very good looking German guy. His name on the show that I was acting on was actually Good Looking Guy. That was his character name. And he must have, the makeup girls must have told him that I was, the guy, the exercise guy around, And so he came up to me. I was having a feed at lunch, and he was like, "Oh, how many push-ups can you do?" And I was like, "Oh, come on, man, not those ones." And then I just had a laugh, and then I said, "Same as your mum does, bro." And then he just laughed, and we just got on. And then I actually started Ludas with him, bro. We found this underground car park in Glenside Crescent, and we just started running classes, man. This was about 12 years ago, bro. And it was before any of the group fitness, brands that are around now. It was just a couple of guys that knew they had, some, skills that they could teach, groups of people. And we had the Blues started coming through, and Rubes and the Warriors and the Kiwis, and we just started to get a bit of street cred, and average Joe Blog started coming, bro. And that's kind of that's where the culture and the community was formed.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, bro.
That's amazing, man. But in saying that, physical health follows by mental health as well. And we think that mental health plays a massive part in people's well-being, and we see the work that you and the likes of Ty, shout out to those of Ty, and the I Am Hope found team from there, shout out to those guys too, because they're pushing that. What are your, I know you're big on mental health, and I know we see that a lot of athletes are now speaking up about mental health because they didn't really have that platform to speak on, but now there's all sorts of platform podcasts where they can come and share about their mental health. What are your thoughts on mental health?
I guess that the real reason why mental health is at the forefront in today's culture is because there's so much depression and suicide, and we're losing people, right? So there's been a very, very severe interrogation of mental health and how this current situation, first and foremost, is affecting everybody. but it's been brought to the forefront at the moment because of the, you know, the severe conditions that we're faced as humans, man, with the current pandemic. You know, our freedoms, our daily freedoms have been taken away from us, you know, and you know, when you take freedom away from someone, the first thing that will start to be affected is the mental health, you know, self-worth, you know, acceptance of the situation, you know, we're put in situations of severe stress and anxiety that we would never have been before. Yeah. But what I feel like, man, is, you know, I mean, mental health is just like physical health. There are tools that you can use to help maintain your mental health. One of them is exercise. But, you know, it is something that as an individual, as a human, you have to take care of. You know, you have to pay attention to it. Because one thing that is sure, that you will not know when your mental health goes. It just, I mean, you know, when your sanity starts to leave you, or you are feeling anxiety or, you know, depression, it comes on, man. It doesn't say, hey, man, you've got about a day before I come and see you. Okay, so just be ready for me. It just hits. You know? And when it hits, you have to be ready, and you have to be guarded up, man. You got to have the rifles ready, man. You got to have the man on the night watch, bro, watching over you, man, because it comes hard, man. And you know, exercise is the way that I bulletproof myself for it, man. I mean, I've been through some dark times, man, and so I know what it's like in there, you know. And sometimes you just got to find yourself in the darkness, bro, and that takes a lot of honesty and reflection and surrender, bro. You know, ego has to go. The first, you know, the biggest obstacle for me, man, is ego. You know, I feel as men as well, sometimes it's not our fault. It's just in our nature. We have this ego, bro, that is, you know, up here, man. And it's the biggest obstacle towards personal development. Because if you can't reflect and drop the ego and learn and listen and be open to what's out there, then you shut yourself off because you say, man, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm better than that. I can do this on my own, you know? So, you know, I feel like, yeah, I mean, mental health is one of those things you just got to bulletproof yourself towards and do things on a routine, on a daily basis to keep guard over.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, and that's so true. And, you know, if there's any viewers that are listening right now, you know, if you're struggling with your mental health, you know, reach out to people like Joe and even to us. You know, we're more than happy to reach out to you guys. And there's a lot of, like, I Am Hope, and shout out to Ty and the team from there too, you know, pushing that. The other thing that we've seen is, you know, there's a lot of responsibility with our young men or young boys, especially in, you know, the likes of the boys in the first 15. Like, you know, now the game's alive, you know, and there's so much pressure on them that's been put on them to be like, you got to perform the same level that you're at Super Rugby. And if you don't, we're not only going to put you down, but the media's going to put you down, but even people from other high schools. So what's your advice, especially because I'm a big advocate into those high school boys, you know, because we've been at Kelston Boys and we've seen how the boys have reacted to that. What's your biggest advice? Actually, not to only high school boys, even the girls. Like, I don't want to just separate it. Yeah.
Well, you know, bro, I mean, for me, when I look back, high school sport, rugby was, man, it was the most enjoyable. Man, I still, bro, I mean, the you know, the feels, bro, that you have when you're with your brothers, man. These are the brothers that you, every day you wake up and, you know, you spend all day with these guys. Every day, bro. Every day. You know their family. You know their mom, their dad. They call you son, bro. You know? These are your usos. And you know, that's your badge you wear, bro. You know, that badge on your chest, bro. You die for it. You know? 100%. The whole school is doing the haka behind you, man. And what are you going to do? You know? Where you at? You know, what school you got, man? Bring it. Come to my field. You know, and I feel like, you know, the whole, you know, rugby in particular, man, it has such a deep place in our society, bro. It's part of the fabric. I said before, bro, but it's part of the fabric of New Zealand culture is schoolboy rugby. Because the family unit and, you know, all the stresses and the pressures and the dynamics of the kids growing up here in this new country. I'm talking in particular about immigrants, bro. Pacific Islanders coming to live here in this country, because the parents would not have been going to those schools. We're in the generation now where, it was us, but for us as kids, man, our parents didn't necessarily grow up here, or they might have spent, their later years. But so it's a whole different thing, having your kid going to this, school with all these amazing people at it. And, so I feel like, there's this extra pressure on teenagers, especially from Pacific Island Māori households, because sport is such a, it's the mana, bro. That's where you get your mana from as a man achieving his manhood. Well, traditionally.
Yeah.
And my nephew, I don't want to embarrass. What kids are like these days. Oh man, Uncle, don't talk about me, bro.
Leave my name out of it, man.
Oh man. God bless him, man. Because I think the world of this kid, man. I've got a nephew that is he's named after me, and he's my brother's oldest boy. He was at grandma last year. His name's Joel, and he's a beautiful kid, man. An amazing sportsman, amazing athlete, and he's going off to a 2-year development scholarship with the Chiefs. And so, I've had a chance to watch him, and it's been amazing, because I haven't had that close connection of the father. I'm the uncle. So, I've got a bit of distance. It's not as, to me, watching my boy play, so to watch him and see that magic still exists in schools, no matter, it's been generations since my time. But over the years, that magic has still schoolboy sport, or school kids sport.
100%.
And to any students out there that are at that level, man, I would just say, man, enjoy every second of that time that you're at school playing sport, because those are them, you're doing it to earn money.
Yeah,
there's things that change. You know what I mean? So you just have to live in the moment as a teen, man. I mean, the thing is, now there's so many people watching players. And, when I was growing up, there's only a few voices I listen to. It's my dad, my coach, and maybe my bro, about how I play. But now, holy heck, bro, you've got all of social media with voices. You've got all of the spectators that watch rugby on TV with voices. You've got so many other pressures on you as a sports person, as a player. It's a lot to contend with, man. And for these young kids growing up, sometimes it's too much, So, you've got to have good people around you, as a family. It's got to be a family unit that supports and uplifts that student regardless, or that player, whether it's failures, victories, whatever it is, because injury is around the corner for every athlete. And that's something that no one can control. You know what I mean? Nothing is a given.
100, bro. And I totally agree with you, Joe, on that. When I was back at school, we had Mills Muliaina come through and do a jersey presentation, and that was the exact thing he said, bro. Was like, these are your best days playing rugby. Like, he's played in All Blacks and Super Rugby level, ITM, NPC, but like, he won't forget the high school rugby. That was his best days, because, like you said, bro, he played with boys that he saw every single day, and like,
I mean, you see them now, bro. You see your boys that you played first 15 with. It's like you never went apart from them, bro. You still have that connection, man. It never goes, bro.
100%, bro.
100%,
awesome.
Man. That's awesome. And we see that you're a big advocate for Pink Ribbon Foundation as well. The beautiful work that you're doing with your beautiful mom, and you recently just did a thing called the Pink Mile, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Well, how was that, bro? Like, talk us more about that. I was like, I heard about the Pink Mile. I was like, solely. Also.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what, man? I mean, there's so many freaks around here. I mean, when I say freaks, I mean it in the most nicest way possible, bro. There's so many people doing amazing things. Things that are beyond belief, bro. Beyond what you think a human can do, man. Like, I think there was just a guy that Bear called a marathon. I was reading about it, and he's just that normal guy, man. So it was just, I mean, it was a mile of burpees, you know. But I mean, it's the least. I mean, when I think about the pain that my mum goes through, and you know, anyone that's that goes through, man, they have to wake up with that every day, bro. You know,
No.
and sometimes it doesn't get better, you know. So, you know, the little bloody tiredness that I got, man, it's nothing. But at least and that's all. That's all I wanted to do. Sorry, boy.
Bro, prayers to your mom, man.
Yeah, and again, that sort of story, you know, what you're going through. I know there's going to be someone that's going to be watching this, you know. And we spoke before we started that we just need that one person, you know. If the one person is encouraged, if that one person is inspired by your story, by the things that we're doing here, then that's more than enough. That's more than enough for us to keep moving forward and to keep encouraging not only our friends and family. So I do want to honor you. And again,
I appreciate you boys, man.
Yeah, prayers to you and your beautiful mum. And you know, mum sees the work that you're doing too. Yeah, that's awesome.
She's proud, man.
Yeah,
good on you, brother. Yeah, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother.
Obviously, we heard you got into the industry of acting, bro, or entertainment side. And you know, we also seen you on GOT, bro, Game of Thrones. And if you got to touch on that, bro, how was that experience? Obviously, bro, like for our kind of people, bro, it was huge. So
I was very lucky to fall into acting, because what it did for me is it allowed me a channel to express myself creatively. And previously, I didn't really have one. You know, I played rugby, and that was kind of my creative expression. And through that career-ending injury, I had to find something else. And you know, I was very fortunate. You know, bless my bro, man. He gave me an opportunity to audition, you know, when he knew I had nothing, man. And at the time, you know, I thought, what am I going to do, man? I got nothing. You know, I couldn't play rugby anymore. I mean, I thought, honestly, man, at that time, I thought, fuck, I'm just nothing. I'm a bum. I got no future, you know. And then my bro rang me and he said, hey, man, have you thought about giving acting a go? And I was like, oh, that's your gig, man. I don't know. And anyway, he sent me the script, man, and he helped coach me for the audition, and I went for it, and I got it, and I played the lead in a show about Otara, bro, called The Markets. I played alongside the bro Xavier Horan and a bunch of other amazing Kiwi actors, man. And I just loved it, bro. And from there, I just, you know, I found a love for it. It allowed me to free some of my demons, bro, when I was acting, you know. And I was lucky enough to get an audition for Game of Thrones, bro. And I went and was a Dothraki, bro, for a few months, man. It was crack up, man.
Awesome, bro.
Man, yeah, because my wife was like, and she's gonna see. My wife was like, so who you guys interviewing today? And I go, this guy from Game of Thrones.
You know,
she was like, who was it? I go, you'll see it.
You let her down, bro, because you said my name and she was hoping to hear Jason Momoa come out of the damn
Nah, bro. I'll take you on, bro. I'll take you then, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you,
man, that's crack up. You know, man, you've done it all, man. Like, you know, you've done the rugby scene. You know, you've done you're in the film as well, and now with the mental health and the physical health with Ludas. So what's next? What's next for you,
man? You know,
Joe Naufahu,
what's next for Joe?
Well, you know, I mean, if anything, you know, the pandemic has, you know, it's forced me to adapt what I do, you know, in terms of coaching at Ludus. And you know, there's a lot of things that I want to do online, and in terms of fitness and health and well-being, that will hopefully help a lot more people. It'll give me a lot more reach to be able to, you know, get out there and share the experiences just like I am now with you guys, you know, but maybe in a way that, you know, people can, you know, tune into and get a little bit of, motivation out of. So I'm working on some stuff online, bro. I've got my gym that I love and I adore, bro. My community there.
Yeah.
I love seeing them every day. Yeah, my bro. Can't wait to get the doors open on Friday.
I'd have to.
And welcome the fam back into the arena. And I've got a couple of shows next year that are at the start of the year. Shows that I did last year. I'm working on some stuff, with some friends. We're writing, and I'm just very blessed. I have beautiful people around me. I have a beautiful girlfriend. Man, how lucky I was. Very fortunate to meet someone that I adore and I love, and I have two beautiful kids that I love, and I'm going to watch them, achieve and make mistakes and do whatever, bro. And, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the journey as a dad. And, yeah, bro, that's us.
That's awesome, bro. And, man, we thank you. And I know we won't hold you up a bit too long, bro. And I think probably the main question, obviously through these tough times, Joe, and obviously you're a business owner and going through the pandemic. What advice would you have for probably people that's been in the business and are probably struggling at the moment? And if you have any advice in regards to that, or any advice towards people that are probably struggling to just get on their feet again and after this pandemic and whatnot, if you have any advice for them, brother?
You know what, man? I don't have a magic solution. I have a tattoo on my wrist, bro, and it's in Latin, and it says, "Hold strong. This pain will be useful to you one day." Wow. And that for me kind of summarizes how we can try and get through this, is just to hold on, man. Hang on to the things that keep you going. Your family, if it's your family, find something that motivates you every day. Find something to cling on to and to hang on to, and just know that whatever pain and whatever hardships you're going through now, they are going to be the lessons that you lead your life on for the rest of your life, the future. So hang on. The pain you're going through will be useful to you one day.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the quote of the year. If you want a quote to finish off the year with everything that's going on, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. The pain is useful to you one day. Man. All right, my bro. Before we finish up, we're gonna do some quick fire review. And all our guests before that, there's this one question at the end for quick fire. They've been doing quite good.
You're doing good, bro.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how you go. On this one. Okay, first one, your first quick fire, because I know some of your mates from the gym will be watching. What's your go-to exercise or go-to equipment to use?
Oh man, they know burpees and air bike, bro. Burpees and air bike. Burpees, air bike, and thrusters. You put those three together, it's game over. Burpees, air bike, thrusters, bro. That's it. That's me all day.
I saw a photo, and they say a photo speaks 1,000 words. I saw a photo of Dan Carter on the bike. I was like, oh.
If you ever want to get a candid snap, bro, that he's gonna hate you for taking, then you put him on the air bike.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Your second one.
You're human. You're human.
Oh man. Your second one, in your rugby days, who was your toughest opponent or teammate?
Oh man, toughest opponent. Bro, there was a guy at De La Salle, and his name was Gareth Palamo, bro. We used to call him the chiropractor, bro. He was because he'll fix your back up, man. Every time you run it straight. Gareth, I think he was still playing like a couple of years ago, bro. Gareth Palamo, bro, from De La Salle. Yeah. Biggest hitter, bro, at school level. Man, I played with some tough kids. One of the coolest dudes that I played with, I know it's not tough, but this guy was cool, man, was Romy Ropati. Romy was my outside centre, bro, at Auckland Grammar. And man, much love, Romy, if you're listening, bro. I loved playing inside you, bro. I loved feeding you, man. This guy could run the length of the field, man. He had a step, and even with all that hair gel in his hair, bro, he still was able to step, bro. The hair would whoosh,
Awesome.
Oh man, your next one, Uzo. Your go-to movie.
Oh man, that's a damn hard question, man.
Like you're scrolling through Netflix and you can't find anything, and you're just like, nah, stuff it. I'll just watch it again.
Man. Man, I can do. I mean, I'm gonna expose myself here, man, when I say this, but I'm actually a really big Rick and Morty fan, man.
All righty,
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. I know. I'm gonna expect. Yeah, I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. I like anime, bro. Even the westernized anime, like Castlevania, was something that, man, I was watching it like, reruns again and again during the early part of the lockdown, bro. But yeah, man, anything like, like fantasy, bro. I love fantasy.
Yeah,
that's awesome, bro.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since you're in the film industry, what's one movie that you'd like want to play the main character for? The one movie that you'd be like, man.
Any movie, bro.
Like if it's Captain America, you're like, man, I could be Captain America, man. I could be Captain Tonga, man.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Captain Planet, man. Captain Planet. But this is before, like, the zombie craze came through. Man, I used to love any like zombie flicks, man. And there's I don't know if you guys play PlayStation, but there's a game called The Last of Us. And man, this game, anyone that plays PlayStation will know this game, man. Honestly, you feel like you're in there, it's unreal, bro. It's such a good game. And I would love to be the lead character in that game, man.
Oh man. You just a bit of a fruit salad everywhere. It was
I know, bro.
I love it, man.
Joel.
Good, man.
Joel is his name, bro. Joel. Joel.
Is his last name Naufahu?
The problem is there actually is a show, and that lead has already been cast. So damn you guys, man.
Nah, man. Yeah. They didn't get the last name, boy. It's Joe Naufahu, boy.
That's it, brother.
And our last question, bro. Our last question. This is a good one. So five people living or that have passed that you'd love to sit around and have dinner with. Just the one night. 5 people.
Honestly, man, bro, I would say my mum, my dad, my girlfriend, and my son and my daughter, bro.
Done deal. Yeah. What's on the dinner table though? What would you be?
Mum, bro, honestly, the sapasui, my mum makes the meanest sapasui, bro. Yeah. They went back to Tonga. When I moved over to the UK, bro, mum and dad, they went back to Tonga, bro, and they set up, they lived in they lived over there, bro, for a few years, and they opened up a steakhouse, and they called it on Tauwhahau Road, bro, and it was called Joe Boys. And yeah, bro. So I'm telling you, man, these guys can cook, like, honest, legit, bro. Or they were the ones, first 15, all the boys would come over, mum and dad would put the feeds on, and it's something that they love doing, bro, and it's something that I cherish, man, even to this day, as they're cooking, bro.
That's awesome, bro.
Shout out to mum and her sapasui, man. Let's go.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
All right. That brings us to the end of our podcast with Joe Naufahu. Again, Joe, we thank you again for an awesome sharing of your journey, man.
Yeah.
And like we said, enjoying this podcast, bro, like a lot of people will be inspired, and a lot of people will be encouraged to, get up and like use their tools to kind of do well in life, and bring value to themselves. So thank you, Joe, again. But before we sign off, we got your ending track for you, brother.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, we have to give this one up for my island girls, And yo, right now we are showcase 2 of my bad boys. The dread bad boy.
Yeah. Bad boy.
Yeah, let's go.